You are listening to Abnormal Spaces.
I'm Donnie.
I'm Ryan.
In this podcast, we discuss conceptual realities, the researchers, authors, and explorers who describe and define them, as well as our personal experiences in these abnormal spaces. In this episode, we discuss the holographic universe, black holes, and the fabric of reality. We explore space-time, the quantum explanations of nothingness, and delicious licks chili in the park on a cool autumn day. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to say it, it's just the will of what is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people want a character to attribute all that to, you know?
Well, everybody wants everything, and that's the will of what's happening. And that's
Right.
what's crazy. It's like, if I remember it and I'm like, oh, no, that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
Right. Now it's the memory of
So
the thing.
there's no getting closer to it
Right.
because it's so immediate.
Yeah. Well, it's immediate and it's elusive. Like, you can't get close to it because it's already, like, happened.
Well, yeah, you can't get close to what is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I know. Like, here's the thing. People seem to be perplexed by this because they're like, but that can't be the answer. And I'm like, but there isn't a question.
And there's not an answer.
Right. Like, why are you asking, like, it doesn't matter.
Like, you want an answer, and that's what's happening.
Right.
And then you're not happy that you don't have an answer.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Right. But it
Yeah.
is the answer.
Maybe. I mean, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
If you can't get close to it, then it doesn't matter. If you're not driving the bus, it doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
We're not driving the bus.
Right.
We're acting like we are. And we don't know that we're acting.
Right. Well, we think the bus is moving.
Well, we think we're a we.
Well, yes. Start with that.
That's
Yeah.
the first thing.
Yeah.
So we think we're a we. We think we're a separate thing, and we're not. We are just part of what's happening. We're light and movement, whatever that is, and that's what's happening. And even that explanation is what. So it's so immediate that you can't get to it because it's already.
Right. It's already.
Yeah. Everything is already.
Right.
You can't get closer to what's already.
Right.
And you can't get further away from it.
No, because it's already.
Yeah. Because the closer and the further away is already.
Right.
So there's no moves.
Right. People, like, seem to want some kind of resolution, you know, that's like, okay,
Yeah.
what you just said, but how do I use that to
How
pay
do I
my
make
bills?
that work for me?
Yeah. Right.
What about the war and so-and-so?
Yeah.
What about all this? What about all that? Don't you get sad? Don't you feel for this? When these people are talking to these other people that supposedly they don't know this. It's like, but it's like they've turned a business into it somehow because they're just like, all right, well, I mean, we'll just talk about nothing forever.
Yeah.
And you love it. And that's great.
Right.
And I'll just keep talking because I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Because I'm not here. Like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah. This is what the perception of me thinks that I am doing right now.
Well, this is just the will of what is going on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, there's nobody driving the buses. There's no buses out there. There's no bus drivers in here. Jim Newman is really good about it. He'll just say, like, no. There's just what's apparently happening. And the illusion or the dream is that you know what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really
Or
it.
that there's a you that knows
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like one removed,
Right.
and it's a story.
Yeah.
And that's all that's going on.
Right. You're telling yourself a story.
And you're not telling yourself the story because there is nobody there. There's just a story that's happening that believes the story that's happening.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, man.
That's not a thing that you like wrap your head around.
Well, you can't.
You can't.
There's no wrapping around.
There's no around.
There's no head.
There's no head.
There's no brain. I mean, for real. Like, if you go off of direct experience of things, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen my brain.
Right.
I'll never see it.
Hopefully.
I've never seen my eyes.
Yeah.
I've never, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I know that there's a brain, obviously. I know that there's science. I know all this stuff. I see it.
Yeah.
You can look at it and be
Yeah.
like, okay, it makes sense, sure. Chemicals squirt around and flow,
Right.
like
Little
do things.
electrical charge.
Electrical stuff and all that. But for my own firsthand experience, I don't have any of that because I don't see it. I don't experience it. I'm not braining,
Yeah.
you know?
You're right.
Like there's just sense things happening, apparently. And then somebody says that I have a brain and I'm like, well, yeah, I guess so. I guess.
Yeah.
Or they show me a picture of a brain. I'm like, yeah, it's a brain.
You know what?
You know?
So here's what's great about that. So what good does it do you to think about your brain? It really doesn't, like, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really do anything for you.
That's what I mean.
So it's the same thing. It's like, why is everyone so concerned about, you know, why am I here and what is my purpose and all that? Because it doesn't do you any good. I don't think. It's like saying that someone or something said, this is Donnie's purpose, and I'm going to create Donnie, and then I'm going to make it real difficult for him to know what his purpose is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that just is ridiculous.
I know. It is ridiculous. Like everything is secondhand, so, except for your own experience. Everything is secondhand.
Right.
It's secondhand knowledge that was impressed upon you in some way, or you picked it up somehow. And that's all just what's happening. That whole story is just it's like there's no forward and there's no backward. Quite literally.
Oh, yeah.
There never was.
And there never will be.
Well, no, because those are stories.
Yes.
And they just keep reasserting themselves by themselves. I was talking to somebody the other day and I was like, you know what's crazy is that words just talk about words.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
And I was like, and how can one word mean anything except for another word that validates it?
Right. Yeah.
They're not explaining anything. They're
No.
just explaining themselves.
And you need so many words to form a context.
Right. Yeah, like if you said like if you said bird,
Right.
and that was it. You're
Right.
just like, you just came into the room and you're like, bird. And and nobody knew what a bird was. It would just be like, you're what? Like,
Yeah.
are you okay? You know?
Right. Yeah. Or if someone did know and you came into the room and you're like, fire truck, they'd be like, wait a minute. Wait, what? Is something on fire? What's
Right.
happening? What's going on?
Yeah, totally.
And you're like, red.
Yeah. Fire truck. And then they're like, red truck. And then they're like, fire. Where is that? And so,
Right.
yeah, it's just like a whole world comes into existence immediately,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. You're always speaking
something.
things into existence.
Well, that's all there is. That's all that's apparently going on. I mean, I don't, without that commentary, what is there?
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Silence.
I guess. I mean, that would be more commentary. Like, it's crazy. I don't know, like, what silence even
Yeah.
really is, you know?
Yeah.
Because you have to have the noise. I don't know.
That's really interesting because words are intentions and intentions are energy and information is energy. So the whole concept of the holographic universe is that information, energy, intentions, etc., will flow into what we collectively call a black hole. They get kind of sucked in once they get close. But anyway, the area of the black hole is, the way we understand it now, kind of a flat surface. And all of the intention and informational energy that gets ushered into that space is then imprinted on, for lack of a better term, the walls. It's not the walls, but the surface of the black hole area. And all of this information creates a composition of perspectives and ideas and thoughts, etc. And much in the way a hologram works, or much in the way holophonic sound works, when you have multiple versions of the same thing and multiple angles of the same thing and multiple recordings of the same thing, it fills in all of the spaces so that you can have, from a flat two-dimensional area, a three-dimensional or more image or sound or idea or whatever. And so the concept is actually borne out by the science that we have today and our understanding of space-time and gravitational forces and light bending and mass changing, but the energy doesn't change. And we know that. And so if the energy doesn't change, and information is energy and intentions are energy, then the entire area is now covered with all of that. And we are seeing, or what we believe to be us, and what we believe to be seeing and hearing and understanding is just that representation of all of that energy that can't be created or destroyed. And so within that, I think about how, time is nonlinear, it's all at once. And that makes sense with that model because all the information is there. It's not created or destroyed. It has all of the intentions, all of the potential realities, literally just everything there ever could be is there. And it really ties in so many of the things we've talked about as far as how intentions are energy and how we believe we exist. And we believe, because of all this information that is essentially reflected back at us, we believe that all of that is reality. And it might as well be. I mean, it's no different than how a placebo works for a lot of people as long as they believe that it's going to work. And there are new studies where they've even told people this is a sugar pill, and they've still gotten better or had their malady, diminished or whatever. It's all of that. And there are now ways to measure that or to think about that. Lots of beautiful, elegant equations. And one thing that I really like about this particular model is it works with Einstein's general theory of relativity without breaking it. So for the longest time, people were looking for a string theory. They wanted to make everything work together. And when you solved for one part, you broke another part. And, now those equations don't function properly. And there was lots of assuming that had to go in. And that's where the whole rise of dark matter and dark energy, because they're like, well, I don't know, there's got to be this other force or this other thing or whatever. And the nice thing about the holographic universe theory is it does tie all of that together without really totally disrupting anything. There are some caveats to that, but essentially our understanding now, based on all the evidence we have and all of our ability to reason, is that that's what's up. That's what's going on. And so I look at that and I'm thinking, it's pretty cool. We have further reason to believe that it is all energy. We all are connected. We all are essentially just the same energy. And we most likely reside in a black hole, inside one. I don't know. I find a lot of liberation in that. I find a lot of catharsis. Okay, I guess I don't mean to say like it ties it up neatly with a bow or anything like that, because that's not it. It's not okay, we got the answer, everybody. But what it does do is it does kind of reiterate all of those things. There is no self. There is no time. There is only energy. There's not even mass. Like we think we understand mass and we kind of get it, but at the end of the day, all there is energy. That's it.
I know. Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
That's it. We don't even have, shit, what is it, 17 minutes? Yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is the Holographic Universe episode. We didn't say that, but so we just kind of started talking about some weird shit. Like we always do. It gets harder and harder to talk about stuff sometimes because it's like whenever you get in a certain point of view or like a certain gestalt where you're hearing everything that you're saying, it's just weird because sometimes like, you know, I'll feel interested in things like, oh, no, yeah, that's really awesome. And then sometimes I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what does it mean though?
Right. Yeah.
Anytime I hear something, I'm like, yeah, but what does it mean? And what's that going to do?
Right.
Like, okay, what does it mean? And it's a sucky mantra that just keeps happening. What does it mean?
Yeah. What do I do with this?
Who does it help?
Yeah. Who does it hurt?
And it's just like, I don't know if that's like part of a spirit. I hate saying spiritual, like an awakening. It's like when I was 20, I didn't notice anything. You're going through life and you're doing your thing and everything's cool. And then you live some life, and you have some disappointments and some triumphs maybe. And then you're like almost 50 and you're like, well, now wait a minute. You know?
It's true.
Or like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Or you never do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm interested in because there are many people who don't and who never will. It's not a bad or a good thing. It's just a very interesting way of nature.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, this dog bites.
Right. Yeah.
This dog loves you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know, but we're no different than anything else. Just because we can think words and talk words to each other
Right.
doesn't make us any more valuable.
Right.
And also, we built everything that exists in our world that's not natural
Yeah.
from words.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So everything exists because of a word, and a word made an idea and a picture, and then whatever the hell happened, I don't know, but that's how it seems to work, apparently. And now we have all this shit, and it's like, It's wild, but if you just take a minute and just disassemble it all in your mind and crumble it all down, there's still the Earth,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and nothing's talking. Like
Right.
nothing's using words.
Right.
And we're like, oh no, but these monkeys communicate. But that's us.
Right. That's anthropomorphizing.
That has nothing to do with that.
Right.
That's not even a monkey.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. We've decided that
Yeah.
we're going to not only label and categorize these things, but then we're going to project our humanness onto these other things.
But we didn't even get to decide it. That is the crux.
Yeah.
We did not decide to be born.
Right. Right. Yeah. And it wasn't just one person that said, forever on, these will be called monkeys. Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah, how the hell does it work?
Right.
I mean, who really cares? But like, you know, if it's not a monkey, it's something else.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
So there's subspecies of monkeys, and now we go into that, and then you know,
But the other cultures call them different things.
right?
Okay. So back to the point about like, we talked about it and then we built it. That goes back to words being energy and intentions being energy. So by collecting all that energy, that helped to propagate that thing to come into existence.
Yeah,
Because we talked about a building with enough people, and of course we use the resources to build the building, but without first talking about it and collecting that energy, that building never would have been built.
right.
So I think that's one thing that's kind of a little bit frustrating for me, is that I want to be more careful with my words.
Of course,
Because I realize how much power they have.
of course, we would want to do that.
Right. Right, I know, but that's the other thing. So there's all this information, all this energy. Literally, the entirety of the universe is available. But we have these great reducers, like giant filters within our brains, or maybe they are our brains, and
Or maybe not.
or maybe not.
But go ahead. Sorry.
But we're to this point unable to process all of that information.
Thank God.
Right. Because our heads would probably explode. No, no,
My head already has exploded.
but there again, there's not really anything that you could do with that. If I had the entirety of the universe and understood it inside and out, backwards and forwards, what would I do?
You would just do more.
I would just do more. I would just be energy at that point, I think.
I think about this sometimes. We go into all this different stuff, and I always say like it seems like there's two worlds. Of course it seems like that.
Yeah.
Everything is two.
Right.
You know, if you take away the one thing, then nothing means anything. And so that's really how it is.
Yeah.
If you take away down from up, then there's no context.
Right.
It's very easy.
Yes.
Super simple.
Many people talk about, well, there's two choices, or, well, there's on, there's off, and binary coding for computers, zeros and ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that is a good way to kind of conceptualize and order the world. But the reality is it's less than that.
The zero makes the one.
The zero makes the one.
The one makes the zero.
Check this out. So in chemistry, a lot of molecules have a right-hand version and a left-hand version. I'm just using that easy terminology because it's different than that. But essentially, it's sort of like a mirror image of one another. The molecule can have all of the same components, but have a different effect if it is the left version or the right version. For example, the thalidomide that was used for a brief window in the 50s to stop morning sickness, then it caused all those birth defects. The reason is they had both left and right in there because at that point they didn't know that there was that big of a difference. All of the quote-unquote natural world uses one or the other. And then the man-made stuff is typically both until we figured out that, we need to pay more attention to that. I bring that up in the context of the holographic universe because if you don't know about the two-slit experiment where they figured out that light was both waves and particles, which is insane, check that out. But as light particles enter into a black hole, there is a scenario in which the mirrored partner goes in, but the other mirrored partner doesn't. And that too creates this multiple version of things. And more importantly to me is I think that that in and of itself is what creates the randomness necessary for the universe to exist in the way that we understand it to exist. There has to be randomness. Without the randomness, the order will break down. Nothing will, quote unquote, evolve without the randomness. Nothing will ever change, and it has to change. Without the chaos, there is no order. That ties into exactly what we were just saying. I find that absolutely fascinating. That for some reason we need that. We have to have that random, that chaos. It's sort of easy, I guess, in the theoretical way to see how that would happen if you're getting not all of the information and the energy going into that black hole and that surface area that has all of the 2D imagery on it. By having just little bits left out and just having little left-right changes affects literally everything.
Hell yeah.
It's pretty wild, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
You know what I was thinking about that whole time?
There's no telling.
I was thinking, I fucking love Licks, grilled cheese, and chili. And I was thinking about getting that today for lunch. And I was like, God, that sounds so good. I get that, and then I go and sit in the park and eat it under the big tree. And you know what? This fucking park, for years, it's been there, and now they just got this wild hair up their ass to put no parking on our favorite side to sit under the trees.
Why?
And eat.
Why? What's the why?
Because they're fucking dicks.
Because they want to deprive you of your chili.
They do. They're like, this is where the awesome tree cover is. This is where people come to have nice, quiet time in a park. It is a state hospital park. I don't know if that's a private thing. I mean, it's the state, but I don't really understand it. Like, you know. But, man, that really gets me, man, because fuck that shit.
Yeah.
You know, and fuck those people. Fuck them. And so, yeah. But you know what?
What?
I'll probably get it and go and park there anyway until somebody comes and says, don't be there.
Right. See, you're the random. You're the chaos.
My stepdad... My stepdad, literally, my stepdad is a security guy there.
Oh, well, there you go.
I know, but that's just funny. I'm like, well, my stepdad's going to take care of it. Wouldn't it be funny if he came out and he's like, Ryan, man, you can't park here. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to take me in.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm going to finish this chili and I'm finishing this fucking sandwich. I'm only going to be here for a second.
You know, we're not...
Love you, Sean.
We're not sponsored by Licks, but...
No.
But I wish we were, because also...
That would be sweet.
Shout out to the Reuben roll and shout out to the Deli Supreme. You have to pay extra now to have it on a croissant, but that's okay. It's worth it.
You know, I will say the workers that have been there for a long time, they really know how to nail it. And then they have a lot of new people in there now, a lot of new kids and stuff, and they just don't give a shit like that. You know, obviously, and I understand it. But man, there was a golden era.
There was. You know, this one close to us where we are right now, it's still pretty good.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, it's still good. It's a little less consistent than it used to be.
Right.
But man,
chili's not as hot sometimes, and you know, sometimes they forget your spoon. You know, I was like, every time I ask for a spoon now, they're just like, we have spoons in there. I'm like, well, don't be a dick, because, you know, you haven't put spoons in there before. All right, sorry.
The worst part about that is that we're one. Like, I am the same as the cashier there and the person making the food, etc. I have forgotten someone's spoon before.
Oh, dude, I worked at Subway. Fuck that shit, man. I did so much dumb shit when I was young.
Yeah. No, I did too. I'm just saying, like, I've really embraced this whole, like, we're all the same consciousness. We believe that we're individual, but, like, we're all in the same stream. Like, maybe we have our own little ripple, and we call that little ripple in the stream of consciousness us. But at the end of the day, the ripple is part of the stream and is part of the other ripples in the stream, etc. So, like, whenever I'm like, oh my God, it's taken 10 minutes of this drive through at Licks and they're probably going to forget my spoon, I'm like, well, that's our shared 10 minutes together. That's our shared consciousness. I can't get too upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think about that. I just get up there and I'm like, can I get a spoon? And it doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me. And the waiting the 10 minutes or whatever, like, that doesn't bother me either. But I do have this inclination, like, I feel it, like, start to build up, like, hey man, you've been waiting a while and you're hungry and you got stuff to do, you know? And then I'm like,
that's not you.
Dude. That's not even me.
See, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Like, are there two of you?
Right.
There's the evil Donnie,
right?
And the
yeah.
Donnie that's like, cool, man,
right?
Yeah.
There's uptight business Donnie that's like, you've got things to do and you got
right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Who am I talking to?
Who are you talking to?
Right.
You're not talking to anybody.
It's so silly.
Words are talking to words.
Words are talking to words,
and it's amazing.
Right.
It's amazing because I wanted to interject. Okay, this feeling of individualism that we have. About, I'm special, my problems are special to me.
Yeah.
Nobody else knows what I'm going through. Okay, now, yes, I don't know what someone who has been through something horrific and of an experience in life has gone through.
Right.
This is absolutely true.
Sure.
But I will say that your words are no different than anyone's words on the planet. Okay?
Right.
Your emotional sensations are absolutely no different than anyone's. You're going to call sadness, sadness. You're going to call pain, pain.
Right.
Joy, joy, whatever it is. That, by definition, I would think makes you not special.
Right.
Because there's only one
right.
joy.
Yes.
There's only one pain. And then there are a lot of words that are all the same.
Yes.
To describe that pain.
Yes.
If I'm having an emotional pain in my heart and I'm, maybe I'm sad because my dad died, maybe or something like that. And, there's a certain flavor to that. And then my words that come in to describe that or the memories that I have over the grieving of that maybe or something. How many people do you think have that? And it's all different people seemingly, but those base colors are all the same. And it makes it absolutely not special and it makes it absolutely not individual.
Right.
And that's not like saying that nobody's experience is valid. Well, I am actually saying that. Nobody's experience is valid. The only one that would say that would be this weird feeling or this weird story of me being special. It can't help it but to do that. That story is the whole conundrum of all of this. It's just that false story that creates this feeling, and it's a feeling, it's not a thought. It's an actual energetic feeling. It's like a tennis ball or in your chest, or it's like I don't know how you experience it, but it is a feeling of being one back from everything and looking at it.
Yeah.
And until that thing apparently dissolves, then you will see yourself and then you'll see others.
Yeah.
When that thing is no more, this is only from my regurgitation. There are no others. There is no world. There's nothing. Actually, there's literally nothing. It's already like that. So all of this isn't coming from anywhere. There's nothing behind this appearance. There's nothing before this. This didn't come from anywhere, and it's not going anywhere. The human mind will never be able to understand that or grasp that, or the science will never be able to science it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that we're okay with that scientifically at this point. And I don't know what they're trying to figure out at this point. Maybe they're definitely not figuring out how to give us free energy. So
Yeah.
fuck them. Like, I think I'm just going to keep hammering down on this, like, for maybe every episode from here on out. And it might turn into not abnormal spaces. It might just turn into you're not here. Because, we can only distill so much. And it's actually fascinating because it's an energetic transference more than these words that we're speaking. It is, really. And to the energy of resonance, it's something beyond the words. And while the words are happening, it's like an undercurrent.
Yeah.
Even though it's not. But that's what it seems like right now. And I'm always like, well, whenever people try to explain this whole thing, they say, well, it's known. It's just known by whatever, by consciousness or by the absolute or whatever it is. And I'm like, well, how can that be, though? I mean, it really bugs me because, like, if you're saying there's nothing, then it can't be known.
Right.
There is no knowing.
There's nothing to know the nothing.
There's no knowing.
Yeah.
It's just unknown, and it's like you can't know it. So, yeah, sorry, guys. I'm having a morning of extreme contemplation. I'm on a trajectory here, and this isn't serving the episode, or maybe it is.
Maybe it is.
Who cares?
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah.
It's that duality thing. It comes up all the time. And I think about how humans tend to think of themselves as not animals or like some kind of better animal or some kind of other animal or something when we are just animals. Like the meat suit that our consciousness inhabits from time to time is supposedly
allegedly
consciousness jumps in the meat suit and it's like, I'm a human now and this is what humans do and we are kind of animals, but we're kind of not animals. And that strikes me as so silly. That's like the silliest thing. But it is kind of an abstraction of the whole duality thing. It's like, I'm an animal, but I'm not an animal. I'm a human, which is a different animal. So it's like, it's like when a person talks to themselves. It's like,
who are you talking to?
Who are you talking to? Who's doing the talking? Who's doing the listening?
Where's it coming from?
Where's it coming from?
Where's the first thing coming from? That's a big thing of the traditions of all of this and of a prescriptive nature to be able to reach enlightenment or whatever you call it. And I hate the word enlightenment. I hate anything that's like an endpoint. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Same.
Like you said, wrapping it up like a present and being like,
Here it is.
Christmas.
Ta-da.
Yeah. No. But, some of these guys and girls and, that I listen to talk about this, and obviously something has occurred in their gestalt of the way things are.
Yeah.
Mine has.
Sure.
Absolutely. And yours has too.
Yeah.
When, if you say this to just somebody like your friend or something, usually they're like, what the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm not okay.
Right.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a prescriptive nature which says you can do something about it. Maybe one of them is like, okay, well, ask the question, and this is a little old school because we do not say whom. Ask the question, to whom does that thought arise? And stay there.
Right.
Who thinks that?
Yeah.
Who's unhappy?
Right.
Who am I talking to?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Right.
Right? And you stay with that line of reasoning, and what that's supposed to do is show you that there's only nothing. And there's an idea that there's something before the word.
Right.
And that's another idea.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So there's never nothing.
Right.
That's crazy. Once there's That's what blows Ryan's mind, is that there's nothing. It's just all nothing.
Yeah.
Apparently happening. It's an appearance of nothing happening, and it's not coming from nothing. It's nothing being whatever. There's no movement in it. That is impossible for our linear minds to understand.
That's exactly right. I mean, what we have seen is a person is born and they live a life and then they die. So in our brains, there is a start and an end to everything because we wrap everything around in that particular experience. It's no different than how most cultures were base 10 cultures because they have 10 digits, 10 fingers to count on. So that's why everything is base 10, except for the Maya who counted their toes. But the point that I was getting to that ties into what you were just saying is everyone is concerned with how do we get here and where are we going? And that concern spilled over into science when they tried to figure out how the universe began, which is always hysterical to me. It's ridiculous to think that it began because that means it's going to end, first of all. And second of all, that it would need to begin or that it would need to end.
Or it would need to do anything.
Or it would need to do anything. It doesn't need to do anything. So like, even as a kid, whenever I first learned about the Big Bang and how, everything was expanding forever, my very first question, this is like 7 years old. I'm like, into what? What are we expanding into? There has to be something to, and then where are the boundary lines of where it's expanding?
That's heavy for a 7-year-old.
Dude, that's the way my brain's always been, man. And it caused me a little bit of anxiety because I'm like, well, it's going to reach an end at one point. And then as I continued thinking about that and aging and learning more, I was like, if it hits a wall, it's going to come back and everything's going to collapse. And I was like, okay, that's bad. And so, I was a little worked up about it. But now, since I have abandoned this linear time trapping concept and have embraced the all energy all the time, all at once, I've come to think of it more as consciousness decided somehow. Okay, so consciousness was there and will forever be there. But there is a field of conscious energy. See, field's even the wrong word because that implies boundaries, and I just don't think there are boundaries. I don't think there was a beginning.
This is a paradoxical conversation.
It is. It is because using my words, I am trying to make it make sense without constraining it.
And you can't.
And I can't because I have the tools of this very human brain. And
you are constrained.
I am, yes.
The idea is constraint already.
And, I get it. I don't have the capacity using this regulator within my skull that prohibits me from fully grasping or understanding all that.
Right.
But the consciousness gets it. That's the thing. The consciousness understands this.
But does it?
Oh, it does. Because it is it.
Let's stay here for 1 second.
Okay.
How could consciousness have any attributes to get?
Well, true. Okay. So, yes, I agree with that.
Okay. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. That's a good point, and I agree with that. That said,
consciousness fucking gets it. I'm parking at the state hospital. Good or bad?
Stepdad, stay back. I hope it's your day off, buddy.
Yeah. I hope you are at home having a good day.
Yeah. That like totally like legitimized everything.